Hello everybody on YouTube, this is Super Nintendo, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Ramble. So, I am working on a series of Let's Talks, talking about why Dragon Ball Super sucks, and here's why. The script is definitely ongoing, but there are a couple of subjects that I wanted to kind of turn into Let's Rambles so that they don't bog down those series of videos with not unnecessary but more minor gripes that could go on for long stretches of time. They're not really minor, but they're more. I want to keep that one focused more on like the story, the characters, and stuff like that. So this will be on some smaller topics, focused around something. And one of the things that I really want to talk about for my first one relating to Super is sort of one that kind of goes with the entire franchise, not just Super. And it is the inconsistency of whether or not Saiyans can or can't breathe in space. So, there are not a whole lot of things regarding saying whether or not Saiyans can't breathe in space. So, I want to go over those real quick before really diving into showings that they can. So the first piece of evidence that shows that they can't breathe in space is just Frieza saying they can't. In the Namek Saga, Frieza says that he can't, that Saiyans can't breathe in space. He's up against Goku. He's getting his ass beat down by Goku after he becomes a Super Saiyan. And Frieza tries to blow up Planet Namek, saying basically, I can breathe in space and you can't. So I'm gonna win this by blowing up the planet. Frieza is a lying, self-serving space dictator. I don't know why anyone fucking believes him. Like, half of everything he says is a fucking lie. Because we have seen Goku go to space before. And I'll talk about that more in my pro can breathe in space section, but that's something that I just want to talk about. Toriyama, the creator, Akira Toriyama, has said that they can't breathe in space during a interview with focused around, it was either Battle of Gods or Dragon Ball Super. He mentioned how Goku and Beerus were not in space, they were in the stratosphere. See, the problem with that is, not only has he said in a different interview that Korin's Tower, the thing that is at a far less height than the Lookout, stretches into the stratosphere. The stratosphere doesn't have any breathable oxygen. So if Goku can breathe in the stratosphere, then he can breathe in space. So already kind of an issue there. The third piece of evidence saying that he can't breathe in space, that people like to, that some people bring up now, is in the Dragon Ball Super manga during the Moro arc. Moro decides to fly out into deep space, and Goku tries to fly out after him. Vegeta stops him and says, you fool, Saiyans can't breathe in space. This is reiterated a few, I think it's a chapter later, or maybe it's a few pages, I forget. Where he says, like, damn it, I hate that we're useless in space. See, the thing with Vegeta is that he's a very unreliable narrator when it comes to Saiyan biology. And I can prove this in several ways. The first one is Vegeta has said that a Saiyan's hair stays the same shape and length that they have from the moment that they are born. This isn't true at all. Goku had a slightly different hairstyle when he was shown in the early bits of Dragon Ball, and this is actually consistent because in Dragon Ball Daima, Goku's hair sticks up in a similar way that it did in the original Dragon Ball, with his hair sticking up and out rather than kind of sticking out towards the sides as a kid. And this is, you could chalk this up to art style differences, admittedly, but one thing you can't is Kid Vegeta. In the Dragon Ball Super manga, as well as quite a few things concerning Kid Vegeta in the anime, Kid Vegeta is shown without a widow's peak, and he has 3 hair spikes hanging in his face for bangs. Why would his hair change if a Saiyan's hair stays the same shape and length it would as it was when they were born? You could maybe make an argument that maybe he cut off his bangs, but where did the widow's peak come from? Now, admittedly, with Kid Vegeta, this particular thing is actually inconsistent, because sometimes Kid Vegeta is shown with his adult hairstyle, and other times he isn't. But he also mentions that they stay the same length, and this just factually is not true. Because here's Kid Raditz. His hair stretches down to about the same place that it does on his adult body. It stretches down to about his calves, give or take. But it stretches down to his calves as a kid. But it also stretches there as an adult. I don't think I need to tell you guys that adult Raditz is significantly taller than child Raditz. Meaning, his hair grew with him as he got older. Same length and shape, my ass. And this isn't even the only example of Vegeta being an unreliable narrator when it comes to Saiyan biology. One other thing that he mentions in the Namek arc is that the Saiyan Zenkai ability, the ability to get stronger from a near-death experience, does not work with self-inflicted injuries. This is just factually untrue, as when Goku was on his way to Namek, it is explicitly mentioned in the manga that Goku was getting stronger partially through him exploiting Zenkais, whether he knew it or not. And Goku was just training. All of his injuries are self-inflicted. So this is just factually untrue. Vegeta, despite being the Prince of Saiyans, does not know that much about his own race, apparently. So that's kind of going over the Saiyans can't breathe in space arguments. But there is one more that I would like to talk about before moving on to the Saiyans can breathe in space things. And that is the very consistent talking point that doesn't just exist for Dragon Ball, but exists for several other series like Sonic the Hedgehog, for example. The idea that Saiyans can't breathe in space because they can't breathe underwater. Or bringing up the fact that Saiyans can't breathe underwater as some kind of gotcha for them not being able to breathe in space. I don't know why this is such a common talking point, because it doesn't make sense. Space is a vacuum. There's very little of anything in space. And for those wondering, in terms of space, vacuum does not mean that everything is sucked out. This is a very common misconception. When things are sucked out into space, in things like movies or in real life, if a spaceship or a space station has a breach, the reason why things are sucked out into space is because these things are pressurized. So when you have a hole and a way for that pressure to release itself, it just blows out of that hole. No different than if you, say, shake up a pop can, a can of pop, like a can of Coca-Cola or whatever. The carbonation in the soda builds up pressure as you're shaking it. So when you open up the pop can, that's why it spreads everywhere. That's why it sprays everywhere. Because the cans are pressurized. They are carbonated. They're pressurized to keep the carbonation inside. So when you shake it up and create a bunch of energy with the carbon and like get all that carbon all shooken up, when you open it up, that's why it shoots out of the can like it does. It's the same fucking principle. Like, if you are just in space in a non-pressurized way, things are not just going to be sucking out of your fucking body.
Who was that kid?
That's not how that works.
What a bunch of crap. He seemed to be having a nice...
So, like, additionally...
Yeah, I'm built better than guys like...
I don't know why people think that just because you can't breathe underwater, you can't breathe in space. This is a really fucking stupid argument, because last time I checked, fish can't breathe in space.
Damn it. Can't believe they left me behind.
Fish can breathe underwater. Is anyone making a fucking argument that Dory or Merlin or fucking Nemo can breathe in space because they can breathe underwater? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know why people think this. It does not make any sense. Okay, moving on to the Saiyans can breathe in space thing. The evidence supporting that they can breathe in space is much better than the arguments saying they can't, because the evidence showing that they can is literally just them doing it. Or like going into zero oxygen environments that shouldn't have any oxygen. For example, Goku went to the moon in the original Dragon Ball. And whether or not you want to say that this is a gag feat or whatever, he still fucking did it. In fact, the Dragon Ball Super manga, during one of the in-between chapter things that Toyotaro loves to do, they bring the Bunny Gang back during the Moro arc. Goku is traveling through space, and you can see the Bunny Gang, and they're off on a different asteroid, because Toriyama said that they survived getting blown up when Master Roshi blew up the moon. They just got scattered out in space. So that's what happened with them. So, yeah. Goku went to the fucking moon in, like, the second volume of the manga. And, like, within the first 20 episodes of the anime. So that's already a huge fucking blow to this argument, because if Goku can't breathe in space, how the fuck did he go to the moon? The next thing is that Goku has gone to areas that either have no oxygen or logically shouldn't have any oxygen. Like, for example, Goku went to Otherworld. Otherworld has no reason to have oxygen there. Like, everyone who is there is either dead or a god. Or some kind of, like, otherworldly creature like King Yama. So, there's no fucking reason for there to be oxygen, especially because the only source of oxygen that we could possibly see is King Kai's planet. And that thing is way too fucking tiny to support multiple human-sized creatures breathing there. So,
Why?
again,
Tell me. Why'd you do this?
that's already a big thing. Additionally, Goku, Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta were brought to Yakon's planet, and Yakon literally ate his star. He ate his sun and all the stars
But why?
around his planet.
Why are
So, assuming that vegetation on his planet would work similar to Earth, which we're not given any reason to think why it wouldn't, because we've been to other planets in the Dragon Ball series, and every time we see vegetation, it seems to work the same way as it does on Earth. Without sunlight, many things of vegetation would die off. So,
we faithfully
there, and without a star, because with it, like, he literally eats light, and the light source, like, just goes poof, essentially. Like, he ate Super Saiyan, he ate the light of, like, Goku's Super Saiyan, and reverted him back to normal. You know? So, like, stands to reason that if he did this with, like, a star, the star would go out. So that's Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan all surviving on a planet that logically shouldn't have any oxygen. To be fair, there's nothing saying that there's no oxygen on that planet, but it doesn't make any sense for there to be any oxygen because he literally ate the sun and the stars.
At this rate,
Additionally,
wipe out all the
actually a lot of the evidence supporting that they can breathe in space ironically comes from Super. Goku and Beerus went up and fought in space. It is explicitly said to be space in the anime, and in the manga it says that it's the stratosphere, but again, no breathable oxygen in the stratosphere, so if they were fighting there, it doesn't fucking matter, because if it is the stratosphere, it still supports he can breathe in space, because there's no breathable oxygen in the stratosphere. Additionally, when Whis flies from planet to planet, he's just flying. There's no, like, energy barrier or anything, and even if there was, the energy barriers have never been indicated to allow someone to breathe in situations that they shouldn't be able to breathe in. So, yeah. The anime even goes a step further with there being a time where, I think it was the battle of the Goku Black arc, where they were flying through space, then we stopped, and Goku goes, like, flying out into space, and, yeah, no, he's perfectly fine. Them flying in space is also shown in the manga, and explicitly shown there's no aura or anything, keeping, there's no, like, barrier making it so they can breathe, so, again, yeah. They are in space, and the anime even has, like, a little gag thing where Goku is being brought to Beerus' planet for the first time, where, like, Goku's like, oh, I need to pee, I can't hold it. It's like, it's okay if I pee in space or whatever, and like, Whis is like, no, one does not do such things in flight during space or whatever. It's like, okay, they're in space. There's no fucking argument for this, you know? They are flying through space, and Goku's breathing just fine. Hi, one more thing to talk about in terms of the can breathe in space thing because of the energy barrier thing. If the energy barrier can allow you to breathe in areas that you couldn't otherwise breathe, we would have seen it before. A lot. See, if using this energy barrier would allow you to breathe in areas that you otherwise couldn't, why wouldn't Goku and company use it when they're underwater? They clearly can't breathe underwater. Why wouldn't they do that? And if they could do this to allow them to breathe in space, assuming that they couldn't, why wouldn't they just do it? This one argument kind of fucks up a whole lot of things because there's not a whole lot of abilities in Dragon Ball that are unique to a given race. And as far as the angels are concerned, we don't see anything that is unique to them. The only thing that we see is that they are constantly, and I'm using air quotes here, constantly in an Ultra Instinct state, which isn't even fucking true, by the way, because Goku was able to land a bite on Whis during the Tournament of Power arc, and Goku was also able to place a alarm clock bomb right next to Whis and have it blow up. Now, these things may not have done a whole lot of lasting damage to him, but they still hurt him. At least Goku's bite did. So, yeah, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense there. But yeah, it's just one of those things like, if you want to bring that up as a rebuttal, then why didn't the characters use it before? You know, it's like, as far as the flying through space thing with Whis, the only thing that we are shown or told is just that he's flying. He's just flying super fucking fast. There's no energy barrier outside of, like, one scene after he comes out of flight when going to Beerus's planet. But that energy barrier is not constantly shown, so I don't think that this is supposed to be like oh, you can't breathe in space. Here, let me put up a barrier. Especially because, he, like in the clip I showed, he comes out of flight and Goku just goes flying in the Goku Black arc. So if that barrier was there to allow Goku and Vegeta to breathe, why wouldn't it be there when they're in the middle of fucking space? You know? It just does not make a whole lot of sense if that barrier is allowing them to breathe, because there's a lot of issues that come with that logic, because the energy barrier thing is not unique to Whis. Every character can theoretically do it. So, like, I don't know. I just wanted to add this in because it was something that, like, I was rewatching the video over and I'm like, wait, that's a good point. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense, even if you do argue that it is a barrier because of all the reasons I just said. Anyway, back to the video. Goku, in the manga version of the Goku Black arc, literally goes to the destroyed future after Zeno blows it up, and Zeno erased the entire fucking timeline. There's nothing. So there's no oxygen, and Goku is surviving there just fine. Goku, Zamasu, when he takes over Goku's body, he is on what appears to be an asteroid. Maybe it's a planet, but it's a little hard to tell. It looks like an asteroid to me. And, like, when he takes Goku's body, if this is an asteroid, if Goku couldn't breathe in space, Goku Black would have died right here. So, again, they can breathe in space.
Push to the brink. This isn't enough to quell my
yeah, it's just... This is something that, like, just does not make any sense to me, why people think that Goku can't breathe in space. Because it's really funny because a lot of the physical evidence that supports that they can't comes from filler. But a lot of the people who like to bring up that they can't breathe in space also like to use filler to defend why Goku can be hurt by a fucking laser because Goku was hurt by a rock hitting him or something along those lines. Is like, okay, you can't fucking pick and choose. Either you're going to ignore filler entirely or you're not. You can't fucking pick and choose like this. So either filler doesn't matter, in which case the rock thing is an invalid argument, or it does matter and you can bring up Goku wearing like a spacesuit during his flight to Namek. So before I kind of go off on this, there is one thing that I would like to kind of talk about, and that is why the characters use spacesuits and why they use spaceships if they can breathe in space. And I feel like the answer is very simple, or why Goku kind of agreed with Frieza why he couldn't like survive in space, which is what Frieza says. He never says he can't breathe in space, at least in the manga or in the Japanese version. He says you can't survive in space. And the reason for this is Goku still needs food and water. So if he has no idea where the fuck Earth is during the Namek saga. So if he tried to fly home, chances are he would die of starvation or dehydration or something before he ever reached Earth. Especially because the Dragon Ball universe is literally infinite in size. This is confirmed by multiple guides and by Toriyama himself. So if Goku doesn't know where he's going, he's probably either going to get lost or he is going to die of starvation or dehydration before he ever reaches Earth. So using a spaceship is good for that regard, because then he doesn't have to worry about getting lost. So that is something there. Additionally, I don't know. Just I think that's kind of the main reason. But this is just something that I wanted to talk about because Dragon Ball Super loves bringing up that Saiyans can't breathe in space, or like the air is thin, so they're having trouble breathing, or whatever. But like, it doesn't make sense because they can breathe in space. They've shown they can breathe in space numerous times. Goku's breathed in space when he went to the moon. Goku breathed in space when he fought Beerus in space. Bardock was in space when he stood against Frieza. Goku and Vegeta fought in space during their final battle in Dragon Ball Online, which was written by Toriyama. The movies have Goku breathing in space too, or not Goku, but other Saiyans, with Paragus and Broly in Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, literally fighting, training in like an asteroid field. Even Dragon Ball GT, Goku literally transported to like a in-between dimension thing after he destroyed Sugoroku space. There's no reason why this space would have oxygen for him to breathe, supporting that he can breathe in space. So it just does not make any fucking sense to say that they can't breathe in space, because it's shown numerous times that they can. And funny enough, I've actually kind of made like a meme picture because this did bug me so much. doing that like SpongeBob meme. And you guys are free to use this if you want. I had a lot of fun making this, and join me next time for whatever thing I want to ramble about next. Until then, take care.
Magnificent! Oh my, look at the display! Zarbon, Dodoria, are you seeing these brilliant fireworks?
Selling a sinking square window!